Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. It's Catherine again here with Coupon Cart Club. Just here with a live video. Um, you know, I have a lot of deals in mind this week. There's a lot of great stuff happening at CVS and Rite Aid. Um, but I did want to get into something else so you guys can have a little understanding of what's going on. Um, so it's so hard to like jump into it, but let me just get to it. So about a couple of years ago, I had a friend who was in a very harsh relationship, and it was very difficult for her to leave her fiance. He was abusive to her. One of the main things that kind of like held her back was that, he had a financial hold on her. So at this time, I was already having like my coupon meetings. Um, and, I kind of like wanted her to come and come to a meeting. So, she can kind of like get her finances together. And with that, it did give me the idea of helping other survivors of domestic violence to learn how to coupon, get their finances together, because when you're in a domestic violence relationship, it's not just a physical abuse. It's mental, it's physical, and it's financial. So what I wanted to do, well, what I kind of do is help girls one-on-one with the couponing, organizing their finances, so they can kind of like get on top of, their life. So they don't have to stay in a situation or go back to a person who was financially taking care of them. Um, and so they could be on top of their stuff. Sorry, I keep umming and pausing. I'm just trying to find like the right words to say and not, sound like a little awkward. So I do apologize for that. So yeah, the couponing stuff that kind of like helps out with your finances because it helps you organize, it helps you save, and it helps you get money, keep your money, and organize your life, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. There's ways that you can get finances by helping other people coupon, have organized stuff, write books about couponing, different things. But one of the things that came to my heart that I needed to talk about was because of this big documentary that Lifetime put out about surviving R. Kelly. Now, it was tough. So I watched all 6 episodes in one day, which was rough. And being in the Black community, we knew for a very, very long time that R. Kelly was abusing young girls. It wasn't like this was something new. We just didn't really know the full extent of what was going on. And what Lifetime did was they opened this door. They really opened the door of how deep it went. And it's really sad. It's heart-wrenching. Now, let me just get this straight and out of the way. I am not defending R. Kelly in any way. I think that he needs to go to jail. Honestly, if he can get the death penalty, I think he's one of the people who needs to go to jail and get the death penalty. I know a lot of people would not agree with me. They just think that he needs to rot in a jail forever. But honestly, I honestly don't even think he deserves all of that. I honestly think that he deserves to have his life taken away from him. But anyway, that's another debate for another time. I want to kind of get into this because I got a little bit of time before my boo-boo baby wakes up from his nap. So let's continue. So it went in depth with a lot of the girls that, got away from his situation. There was even some former employees that worked with him and is no longer working with him anymore. And they just explained the environment, that he kept girls in separate rooms. They couldn't leave the rooms. He basically had them as sex slaves. And the thing that I know from, my mom working in probation is that a lot of times victims of domestic violence or, sexual abuse, um, their predators have actually been sexually assaulted themselves. So Robert and his brother were getting assaulted by a family member. Me personally, I think it was actually both of their parents. I think it was mom and dad that were assaulting them. They kind of don't really get into detail who was the one who was assaulting them. So dad, because he was completely obsessed with his mom. Like his mom was, it was weirdly obsessed, the way he was. And then he did have an obsession with males. So a few of his girls would dress up like boys. Like he would force them to dress up like boys. He would force them to cut their hair and look kind of boyish. One of the girls in the documentary, they even exclaimed that he would tell them to draw on like beards and mustaches. So that was really his thing. But my big concern about this whole situation is that I feel like the parents were not involved enough in their life for this situation to happen. There is no way I am letting my teenage daughter go backstage with R. Kelly. There's no way that I'm allowing my teenage daughter to be alone in the studio with my daughter. I wouldn't even let that happen with like my sons, like my hypothetical daughter, because I have two sons. I'm still very protective of my sons, and as a parent, it's kind of heart wrenching seeing stuff like that and seeing that how people would take advantage of your children. But it's your job to be on top of that. There shouldn't have been no reason. Well, let me explain. One of the girls left to go to Kissimmee, Florida, to meet R. Kelly in a hotel. There should have been no reason that she was there. There should have been no reason. Like, that's crazy to me. Why are you not so involved in this girl's life that she felt like she can do this on her own? And this is what she needed to do. This is what she has to do. You have to be there. It's important for you as a parent to always be immersed in everything that they do. It's so crazy. Like, I understand, she's a teenager. She was almost 18. She was 17 years old when it happened. And in the state of Illinois, 17 is actually legal consent. I'm not too sure about Florida. Here in New York, it's 18. So that stuff wouldn't fly. But, it really dawned on me that, there's really no one else to blame but the parents. Yes, R. Kelly should know better because he's an adult. But you as a parent are supposed to protect your children. You're supposed to be on top of their whereabouts. You're supposed to teach them how to, present yourself. That you don't have to give your body up to be famous. Um, I've been hearing a lot of chatter with other people. And one of the things that they said was that, the Black community doesn't really understand how money works, how the economics work, how the finances work. And it's the truth. The reason why he was able to take advantage of so many Black girls was because they didn't understand how the money exchanges. A lot of the girls don't know about finances till this day. Like, honestly, me growing up, I didn't know about finances. I learned initially from a coworker. It was a guy named Bob. He was like 59 years old. And he's like, hey, do you have your like 401k? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I was like, no, what is that? I don't know what that is. I was like probably like 19 years old. And he was like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about it. we'll just go sit in the break room. It was nothing creepy. There was nothing weird going on. He was just very straightforward, and he never really insulted me or insulted, you know, how my mom, you know, raised me, and never focused on like finances or whatever. But he was like the reason I got into finance and accounting when I went to college. So I studied that as my major. But if it wasn't for him, like it wouldn't even be on the brain. Like I wouldn't even think about it, or it would just be, you know, you get a job, you spend your money. You get a job, you spend your money. But that was like one of the main issues that was there. They wanted to get something from R. Kelly, but didn't realize that it was going to come at a price. And if it wasn't a financial price, it was coming with your life. And that is heart-wrenching, like completely heart-wrenching. And I think that people need to be more on top of their finances. People need to be more on top of, you know, knowing where their children are. I kind of like iPhone because, you know, you can do like find my iPhone or whatever. All you have to do is like log into the iPhone app thing, and then you have that information. You already know where your kids are. You know, you have that location, that pin drop, you know, whole situation. But the truth is, if you guide them in the right direction, then you're going to not have to worry about the decisions that they have to make, you know, later on. Um, I used to be very upset at my mom when she used to tell me, you need to stop listening to that music. You need to stop listening to that music. It's so bad for you. It teaches you that you should be one way and you really shouldn't. And I used to fight her tooth and nail. And then I used to realize after I'm listening to the lyrics, I would just, you know, mouth it off. And then I'd be like, well, what is he really talking about? What is she really talking about when they're rapping? Like, and after a while, it dawned on me, something's not right. Something is kind of crazy. That doesn't sound right. Like, why would I do something like that? And we're just, you know, as an adult now, I look back at some of that stuff and I was like, wow, I just was not listening. And it's difficult because now it's more accessible everywhere. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, you know, it's on Spotify, and every kid has a cell phone. So it's like, it's harder, it's becoming harder and harder for you to kind of like hone in on the type of music that your kids listen to. Um, these days, the music isn't as raunchy, it's more emo suicidal, which worries me. Um, and it kind of scares me a little bit because, uh, you know, a lot of the songs that, you know, a lot of the young kids listen to is about fighting or like killing themselves. And, you know, it is worrisome, especially for a parent. And, you know, we have to be on top of that. We have to, you know, make sure we reassure our kids that we love them. And if they need anything, if they do something wrong, we're the first person that they run to. We're the first person that they talk to. If there's an issue, we have to be the ones that that are there for them. We have to give them that reassurance. And I think that was also a key factor in why those girls, you know, ran to him, because they felt like they couldn't tell their parents certain things, or they couldn't run to them, but they felt like they can run to him, which which is kind of difficult, you know. I was happy that one of the girls did was able to leave the situation, so they showed her being removed from, you know, R. Kelly's care or whatever. And I was, you know, ecstatic. And then I seen the like the ending, and it was saying that the girl ran back to R. Kelly, but then again she left again, um, which goes into like domestic violence. And usually, you know, statistics say that women take 7 to 10 times from leaving their abuser before they actually leave. And it's difficult, you know. having to make that decision and feel like you have to go back. And I think that, you know, we need to work together more. We need to reinforce our young women to understand that you don't have to run to this man for finances. You don't have to run to this man because he's giving you a big old house. I think that they see him and they're like, oh, he's rich and famous, so we're going to do a lot of things together. And those first couple of months, he probably does. He probably takes them out places, wines them and dines them, buys them clothes, it's really sweet. And, we usually call that like the honeymoon phase. So you go through the honeymoon phase and then it like they were all talking about it was great in the beginning, and then it was like something switched. As soon as I moved into the house, it was a totally different thing. I had under these rules. I couldn't leave my room unless he told me I leave my room. If I wanted to go to the bathroom, I had to call him. If I wanted to go to the store, I had to call him. And I was just like, wow, this is so crazy. I couldn't imagine having a daughter or like my daughter or a daughter being in that kind of situation, being under those conditions. I try to provide as much as I can for my kids, and I try to be on top of everything that I can. But the reality is I'm not letting my kids go backstage with no artists. I'm not letting my kids spend time in the studio by themselves with no artists. I don't care if they can make them famous or they can make them big. Actually, you can still make it big without being famous nowadays because you can own the rights to your music. There's so many, different ways that you can do it. People are just trying to use a quick scheme way, and it's not good. I don't even know. Like, to me, it was just so insane. If you guys do get a chance, make sure you check it out, the Lifetime series, Surviving R. Kelly. At first, I didn't want to see it, but then I hunkered down and I watched it just to have a little more understanding of what's going on. But we knew, this is not something that's new in the music industry. This has been going on for a long time. Some of the steps that you can kind of like try to look out for if you think that you're going to be in an abusive relationship, or, you're just in a new relationship and, things are going really, really well. Just keep an eye out for a few things. One of the things is isolation. Men who are usually abusers usually try to isolate you from family and friends, usually because they could be like, hey, girl, you tripping. That is not a good idea. You shouldn't do that. Think about what you're doing. Another thing is a man who feels that you should not be working. It's different when it's a mutual situation where it's like, say if like I work at home, so I don't really consider it as me not having a job. I make my finances, at home. So I still take care of my kids. I homeschool my youngest, and I still work from home. On top of the couponing stuff, I have a business. But it has to be a mutual thing, and it's not a situation where you have to ask, I guess, for money or demand it or whatever. I think it's just it's a perverse version of, someone trying to take the financial control of it. Another way is if they're verbally abusive to you. One thing that, when I was in the dating pool, but you know, I'm married now, was that I would never tolerate anybody I was dating to call me like the B word or the N word. I was not comfortable with that. If you came out of your mouth and you said something like that, I didn't need to be with you. Because that to me is abusive. That's opening the floodgates to something else, and I don't want to be a part of it. And it's really scary. So, you know, keep an eye out for those things, you know, the isolation, the finances if they don't want you to have a job, and the abusive wording. You sometimes need to get someone else's advice on when you're dating somebody. I'm not trying to say that that person needs to make the decision for you. Like if your best friend is like, oh, I just don't like that person because he's mean to me. I don't think that's it. I just think that, you know, sometimes when you have an outside person telling you what's going on or have a notion, you feel a little more at ease at what's happening. And it's really, really important. All right, beautiful people. So I want to try to talk about something on a light note because, you know, that surviving R. Kelly stuff is, you know, got me a little emo right now, a little depressed. I did get a new ring. The hubby, you know, bought a new ring for me. I don't know if you kind of see it. He did a little upgrade. We are going to make 5 years this year in September, so we're looking forward to that. Not sure if we're still going to renew our vows, but thinking about it, you know, all that good stuff. And let me know if you guys want me to do a video on my budget binder. I have a few things set up, you know, about finances, how to organize it, your bills, you know, how to pay if you're doing like your savings things, and putting all that great stuff together. If you are, just to let you know, if you are a victim of domestic violence, make sure you call this number 1-800-799-SAFE. Also, you can contact me, and you know, I provide free financial classes and coupon classes one-on-one if you prefer, or you can just come to a meeting. I have a meeting almost every Tuesday. These last couple of weeks I haven't really because it's been the holidays. But yeah, just definitely send me an email. Me and my best friend help you through the process of, you know, going through the shelter, signing up for WIC and food stamps and stuff so that you can be set. And then we help you out with your couponing and your finances and stuff. Alrighty, beautiful people. It's so great chatting with you. I hope you guys had a happy new year, and I can't wait to get back into those coupon deals. I just been busy, but I just needed to kind of like get this off my chest. I know it's been bothering me for a little while, and I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing people talk about R. Kelly, but you know, it's something that needs to be talked about. I know it's kind of late because it's like 20, 30 years past the prime of what was going on, but you know, we need to get on top of this. We need to kind of like be on top of, you know, protecting our girls, and that's the truth. So hope to see you guys soon. Stay tuned. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. All right, everyone. Bye.